You've used this the phrase a treasonous conspiracy. Those are fighting words. Those are big words. And I can tell you, the people in this audience, they know that and they agree with that. But can you make the case? Can you present the argument to the best ability you can with unclassified information and public information? What makes you believe that this reaches that sort of threshold?
All right, everybody. Well, we have another day and another instance of Donald Trump and his ridiculous supporters coming out and making clowns out of themselves in order to protect Donald Trump and to lie about his obvious ties with Jeffrey Epstein. At this point, it is no secret whatsoever that Donald Trump flew on the famous jet. Donald Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And now we have to ask ourselves, what exactly is in those files that Donald Trump is so keen on hiding? And why is it that all these supporters that wanted justice for everybody, such as Charlie Kirk and Tulsi Gabbard, well, where have all their principles gone? And I'm going to be honest, guys, it's getting pretty lonely out here on the right being honest about what's going on because you guys just didn't want to be honest with yourselves. The reality is Donald Trump is tied to Jeffrey Epstein and he is involved in a cover-up to make sure that we never learn about it. And it's not a great look. But unlike some of these other people, the uncomfortable truth must be addressed, and we're going to take a look at it here. Watch their spin.
Because you look at the action. They manufactured a hoax. They manufactured these lies, published it as though it were true, propagated this through the media to the American people. And then what happened next? The Mueller investigation, years-long Mueller investigation was launched. You had 2 impeachments coming from Congress. You had a raid on President Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago by the FBI. You had smears and attacks and investigations, not only against President Trump, but against his family, his senior officials within his administration.
So do you realize what's going on at this point when Tulsi Gabbard runs out in order to defend Donald Trump? Donald Trump is trying to take your eyes off of the ball when he is refusing to show you the list of people that were involved in these crimes because they are elites who are lording over all of us. This is not a right or left issue. So what he does is he sends his little sycophants out there, like I hate to say it, Tulsi Gabbard, who literally just about a year ago I was saying should be picked for vice president. And this is what we actually end up with, guys. Tulsi Gabbard was just like the rest of them. All she is a Trump bootlicker. And we know that because what she is doing right now is saying every negative thing that happened in Donald Trump's first presidency, well, that was all just an attack on him. That is all just a coordinated attack. Look, we may not like it, and some people may be thrilled with it, but the reality is Congress had every right to impeach Donald Trump. They can do it again. They can do it whenever they want if they can get the votes. That's how our system works. The fact that he was impeached and not removed shows that they didn't have that support. So if we have a Democratic president in the future and the Republican Congress or the Republican Senate decide that they're going to remove that president, that is well within their power if they have the votes to do it. That's our system working. Now, I'm sorry if you don't like the way that the board is set or you don't like the rules of the game, but that is how the game kind of works. Your political adversary's job isn't to come out and make you look great. And I do remember a guy named Donald Trump who was out saying that the current president at the time, Barack Obama, wasn't even a citizen of the United States. So it's a little bit rich that they want to have things both ways. If you can't deal with some name calling or you can't deal with some of these problems, then you do not belong in politics because it isn't for you. And they're starting to realize the American people really don't like PDF files or presidents who decide that they're going to go ahead and defend them. And Charlie Kirk has lost all of his credibility when he says this.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government.
So this is where MAGA is now, guys. We went from drain the swamp to trust the government. Now be honest with yourself. Does this look like a guy who doesn't have something to hide?
You see why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night set?
Yeah, sure. If
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years.
And the uncomfortable truth here is that dude's guilty of something because that's exactly the way you would act if you had something to hide. And if you are part of a political movement that requires you to protect PDF files or make excuses for why you wouldn't release the clients on that list, then I don't want any part of that movement. And I invite you to jump off the MAGA train because there is no reason that a decent person should still be attached to Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form. So everybody, that's all I have on this one. Do me a favor, hit like and subscribe, and share the uncomfortable truths. Take care, everybody.